Hi, uh, it's me, CJ. I'm in my apartment. I'm with my Epiphone guitars and acoustic. Uh, Bought it a few years ago. It's one of the first guitars that I bought. And so I'm going to apologize for the low lighting. It's nighttime, and I don't have an overhead light, and I don't have I've got like a red light on the right side of the room, and then behind me I've got like a blue light, and then I've got it's I don't know. I'm going to work on my lighting situation for nighttime videos. But I, I got I got stuck. I got stuck on this um, musical phrase, and I think it's from I think it's from one of the songs by Mike Oldfield, uh, and I can't quite place Mike Oldfield. I don't know if you know who he is or not. He got really famous 1971, 1972, whatever he did. He did an album called Tubular Bells, and the first 2 minutes of that album, and it was an instrumental. It wasn't vocal at all. There were some human voices that were used, but but they were used as instrumentation, not as you know to vocalize words or ideas uh, with language, but they were used. It was used as an instrument to make notes and musical invocation. Like a vocal chorus. Like that. So anyway, yeah, this was Tubular Bells, and of course we know it from The Exorcist. Those of us who know that movie. But it's a really, really great record. It goes on for like maybe 45, 47 minutes, something like that. It's really great. Takes up both sides of a 35 vinyl. But I remember him mostly, like, in retrospect, I learned that's who he was. But I remember him from the early days of music video. Uh, because he would make the occasional music video, and it would get the occasional spot, like on uh, uh, MTV was the thing, but there were other music programs too. Midnight Special would occasionally, or Casey Kasem had a late night program. There was these late night programs. Radio 1990 was one of them. That kind of was the precursor. Then there was like USA Up All Night, where they would play music videos, and then they would show movies. These were like things that I did when I was a kid. We had like just some cable, some like first or second tier cable. We didn't have like thousands of channels like we have right now. But it was cool because it would last all night, and so I could stay up watching TV all night as an insomniac that I was. Uh, and so I got familiar with some of Mike Oldfield, and then he really got famous. Here's the story. I'll tell you this real quick. Uh, the reason why I'm talking about Mike Oldfield is that he's my guitar hero, my personal guitar hero. But he's a multi instrumentalist. He plays several different instruments. Uh, and he writes these wonderful orchestrated pieces. But yeah, his record company wanted him to write an album and label it Tubular Bells Number Two. Uh, to capitalize on the former success of his first album, because he was like maybe 19, 20, something like that when he wrote it, and maybe he was 21 by the time it got put with the movie, and everybody knows that movie, and everybody knows that bit of music, and that was the pinnacle. And when you do that, your first run out of the gate, and the whole world suddenly knows who you are, and you're this musical maestro that young. Everything else that you do gets compared to that. And he never quite met the success of the first Tubular Bells, but they were giving him some smack about that, and he didn't want to do it. He felt that it would be like, I don't know, But anyway, so it was like maybe some contract negotiations, something like that, and whatever they were. Well, I don't know how the business end of that stuff works because obviously I'm not a businessman, uh, or really a musician for that matter. But yeah, they didn't renew his contract, so he went, or maybe he chose to go to another record label. But he did. He took his product over there, and he did produce an album. And the very first album out of the gate was Tubular Bells #2, and it charted. It was fascinating. It was great. In many ways, it surpassed the quality of the first. First of all, the studio equipment uh, and the recording was much better. And I'll tell you, who does some of the vocalization at the very end of that, the introduction of the instruments, it is oh my God, um, Hans Gruber from Die Hard, and um, what is we know this guy's name? I'm drawing a blank, but he was Snape in Harry Potter. You know, uh, can I believe? Yeah, I can believe I'm forgetting names. Okay, so I forget the actor's name, but yeah. So anyway, I've got this chord progression in my head, and I can't place where it comes from, but I think it's one of Mike Oldfield's. And I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't the only one that's ever used it. But it's very simple. That's all that it is. But when it's played over and in a loop, and then it maybe the intensity of it, swells and everything, it kind of takes on uh, kind of an abstract emotional thing, you know. Sounds like it sounds like any number of early guitar lessons, but I think I think he must have used it. I think in one of the songs from Tubular Bells too, Mike Oldfield, but I can't place it, so I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that whole album. Um, oh, he did. He did a you know he did an album. He did several albums after that of like radio friendly shorter cuts, and one of them was an album called Earth Moving, and the track on that one was called that I love the best is called Runaway Sun, and it is I don't know if you find that album or if you it's on YouTube, Runaway Sun, Mike Oldfield, and if you check it out and listen to it, it's really like my life story. Like my life story. It could have been, and I'm sure it could be anybody's. But yeah, so I'm gonna work on playing this, and I'm gonna see if I can't get some of that emotional intensity behind it. But basically, it's just that it's stuck in my head, and if I don't play it, and if I don't make this video, it's not gonna get out of my head, and I'm not gonna sleep. So here we go. Oh, I know it well. What I wanted to say, Mike Oldfield, he just did an album a couple of years ago, uh, maybe 3, maybe 4 years ago. I don't know, but he got the lead singer of a British pop band called The Strokes, and they were kind of like modern, postmodern, kind of gentle boy band slash uh, edgy punk or whatever, but they were like edgy but buffed out. So much so he's such a the singer's such a sweet kid and everything like that that he's like he came in to do like one song, and then uh, Mike asked him, "Would you want to just do the vocals for the whole album?" So they collaborated, and so it's great. So, and I forget the name of that album. Uh, I think it's Man on the Rocks. I don't know. But the song that I love from that is a very peaceful song. It's called Sailing. And it's like, um, it's basically just about, hey, I'm going to go sailing. Like the whole song is about sailing. And you know, but it's not like, yo ho ho Popeye sailor, but sailing, which was so funny because, you know, the cartoon Popeye uh, has, when the cartoons are the old Popeye cartoons, when they're closing their credits and everything like that, uh, there was like a bit of music played called the Sailor's Hornpipe that's very popular, and it's very historical also. Uh, Mike Oldfield used that to close out the original Tubular Bells album. So we've come full circle there. Now that I've just like shot my you know my basic trivial load about Mike Oldfield, I will just play this music. Here we go. So anyway, I actually could just keep playing, and then like that's just one of those things. Like I just play in a. You can play in a circle with it, but you have to sort of switch it. You have to take the chords, that the D, the G, uh, the A, and the D, or whether it's a D and a G and an A minor and back to a D. You have to sort of like give a little bit of variance to the rhythm of the cadence or something like that. Otherwise, it would just seem like, for one thing, it would be obvious if I played the whole chords just perfectly straight. It would be obvious that I don't really know how to play. And then number two, it would be really, really, really emotionally boring. And so, like I got stuck on this earlier today, but it was like I kept feeling a swell. Like I would start out, and then like increasingly get the sound would get bigger, and that happens naturally with an acoustic anyway. Um, like I noticed that like if I play uh, a G, uh, it sounds a little different when I'm playing an E, say a yeah, uh, an E, and then I play a G on top of that E, because what happens is that G is playing on top of the E that's already resonating in and throughout the body of the guitar. So that the note or notes that are played before the current note being played have like an acoustic, you know, they matter to the note that's being played, the notes that have been played before it, and that's why sometimes it's really important to be able to mute the sound before you move on to the next musical phrase, uh, or if you want to mute in playing. I'm not that technical when I'm playing. I just kind of like bang around some notes, and it's just to get some emotions out. But yeah. So I have some things coming up. Let's see. I've been going to our local farmers market. That happens in the daytime. I'll probably take some video uh, down there, just me walking around with my phone. Because it was like the last 2 weeks, it was like, it's been busy, but it's like, wow, And then, I don't know, I'll be going to the lake. Cypress Lake in a few weeks for a family gathering, and it's really nice and serene. And I'll try to do some video of how the water looks out there. My whole purpose for doing these videos in the first place started out being I wanted people to know how much I love my uh, area of downtown Shreveport and the surrounding areas within the little metro area that we have here. And some, yeah. So uh, I just want people to know that if you come to see us in Shreveport, that we've got beautiful lakes that are suitable for swimming. Some of them. I wouldn't swim in the river. Uh, but people have done that. I mean, I mean, I've seen some uh, river rats, meaning dudes that like to swim in the river. I'm a little like you know. But we've got some wonderful campgrounds. If you're really outdoorsy, we got some of that stuff, and then we also have some uh, wonderful festivals and events and bright lights and uh, some artistic things to do when you're feeling more artsy. And yeah, so anyone who gets a hold of this, come see us in Shreveport. And if you do, and if you come by it uh, through here, um, let me know. If you're coming through town, we'll grab a cup of coffee or something. I don't care. Whatever. Okay. I'm going to play, and then you guys uh, peace out and have a good night.